That's why, do you know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen.
Greetings, y'all, and welcome to See Things Above TV. I'm your host, Lou Ciccone. So today we are taking a quick look at Katt Williams' recent appearance on Club Shay Shay that has everybody talking right now. But before we do that, y'all know what to do. Please consider subscribing to the channel, liking this video, sharing the video, ringing the bell for notifications, doing all the stuff that lets the YouTube algorithm know that you like content like this. But without further ado, so Katt Williams appeared on Club Shay Shay, and this interview was rather explosive. Okay, it was rather explosive for a number of reasons. He did actually talk a little bit about his upbringing and how he had a Christian background, and because of some issues that went on with his parents, he ended up leaving the house at a young age. And so there was some interesting bits about his life in there, but the heart of what really has people talking is how he has really exposed Hollywood and the inner workings of the culture over there and what people have to do to really be successful is what we're seeing in this interview being exposed. And the truth about this is that we're seeing this more and more from various voices. I think at this point, anybody who believes that shiny idea of Hollywood, that this is just a place where all these people with a massive amount of talent and just ability to play a role in a way that is so convincing, that is captivating, that these people just simply off of their talent and their abilities make it to where they make it. And quite frankly, with all that we know at this point, that could not be further from the truth, because what happens, what seems to be evident, is that people have to be willing to sacrifice something to get there. And so let's get into some of the things that Katt Williams said, and we'll chop it up as we go along here.
I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things, because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is, TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have another one of these.
Amen. Amen.
Gee.
So as we can see, we have Katt here having Shannon taking extra sips of the yak over here because of the intensity of these conversations here, man. So in this clip, we see him talk about how people have, like, he's been talking about things for a long time, and he's basically been canceled before cancel culture was really even a thing, and how there are people out there who are going to be exposed in 2024. And he did mention Diddy, and he did mention TD Jakes. We know that both of these men have news about them, rumors that are going around and allegations that are rather unsavory, and the volume of those rumors seems to be increasing and not decreasing. And it seems like it's only a matter of time until somebody has to answer some questions, because we know that in their case, the FBI is looking through information that seems to have, TD Jakes and other people there. These are the allegations, right? These are the allegations, so we have to make that clear. But he does mention that. And obviously, this being a Christian channel, man, we, hear names like TD Jakes, and we listen to these hear about them in this manner, and we got to mention that. You notice how Shannon Sharpe just has nothing to say as he's listening to this man, because he's just like, Wow, like he's just sitting there stunned about what is coming out of Katt's mouth at this point. Let's take a look at another short clip here, and we'll talk about it some more on the other end as well.
And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like, it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves.
Are you not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
What do you mean again? These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. That's why, you know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job.
So you notice in this interview, there are a lot of references to God and to just like the spiritual realm, right? So he talks about, in this clip, he's talking about how Satan cannot create blessings, right? Which is an interesting statement, actually. And he's talking about that, how he just didn't want stuff that the other guys want. He's not afraid of being canceled. In the previous clip, he talked about how, there's God's side and then there's the other side. And so there's a lot of references to spiritual warfare, I would say in this interview. And this could be, again, because of his background, having grown up in a Christian home. The fact is, the more he talks about this, the more we can see that there is just something very nefarious about the workings within Hollywood and within the structures there. And he's going to say some stuff over here that even just takes it further, where it's just like, look, like, listen, people know what's going on. It seems like it's common knowledge that this is the way things work in Hollywood. And you either go with it or you don't go with it. And if you don't go with it, you're not going to reach the levels that other people might reach. The number one job of somebody who sold their soul in Hollywood is to act like it never happened. A lot of stuff that we grow up with, man, this idea of Hollywood being this shining place where dreams come true is just a false idea. It's just a fairy tale. That whole thing is a fairy tale. It is a very dark industry that runs Hollywood, and the practices that go on behind closed doors are likewise also very dark and demonic.
They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. It's a cabal. It's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with, and they don't with who they don't. But I'm not scared of being the competition any more than you were when you lined up across from a superior team. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team.
Right.
They have all the assets and resources, and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't.
Wow.
Because Shannon Sharpe got to be a different person than that other person.
Absolutely.
And he always was. That doesn't change when I change teams. That remains the same. That's how a legacy is built. So all of these shortcut takers, they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck in front of all my people at my agency. What am I supposed to do? He did all of that. I'm thinking I'm the only black person on the script. I get there, it's 3 other black guys on there. Woo. Huh.
So you wonder what they did to get there.
I told him no. What y'all do? And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down. Behind my back, I'm nothing. I'm just a regular old comedian that's bitter and jealous. But in my face, no. The king has walked in and they have to respect it only because I've not taken the shortcuts. I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about. They tell you that themselves.
So he mentions a few things in that clip. He talks about how it is a consortium. It's a close-knit group of people who are doing stuff, right? And in the direct context, I think he's talking about the comedians that he took issue with in the interview, but he's also talking about Hollywood itself. And then he mentions how, he talked about Harvey Weinstein, that was wild. That was wild, and especially what he alleges that Weinstein said, offered to him to do, which is ridiculous, but looking at, Weinstein's record and all the stuff that came out in, not so long ago, we can't really, there's no reason to think that he would make this up. And I don't see what the value of him making this up is, right? So yet again, just more proof that the darkness and the debauchery and the demonic mentality, and as we even know, rituals that go on behind the scenes in Hollywood in order for people to become successful, these things are real. These things are real. And at the end of the day, man, I think for me, this whole thing just made me think about from a Christian perspective, right? From a Christian perspective, how are you to view these things and how should we respond? Well, on one hand, I think the Christians, people who have really been reading their Bibles, are not truly taken by surprise when we hear these sort of things, because we know that the activity of the evil one is something that is going to increase. We know that people are going to embrace wickedness and evil. And you can just see by the things that are celebrated in Hollywood versus the things that are actually demonized. So the things that are really in keeping with biblical ethics and with godliness and with Christ likeness, those things are demonized. Those things are looked down upon. Those things are seen as not money making, first of all, and also they are they infringe upon people's freedom to just be who they want to be. So we know that anything that represents Christ, represents the one true God, is looked down upon in Hollywood, and that is going to be the case until the Lord comes back. We just know that that's going to be the case. But how can we as Christians think about these things? And even if you're aspiring, right? If you're aspiring to get in these fields, in this field, or in any arena within Hollywood, in the industry, how can we be thinking about these things as Christians? And so I'm going to play this really short clip right here from Frank Turek when he was asked the question by someone in the audience. So let's check this out.
What advice would you give to those who are going into the film industry and also Christians in general in how to approach movies, especially in the culture that we're living in today?
Yeah, good question. We need Christians in every industry, moral industry. Mm-hmm. You're going to be tested, though, as to how far you can go into immorality, and you're going to have to draw bright lines before you get in there. But if you can influence films for good, you ought to.
So that is the response from Frank Turek. Of course, he goes on and elaborates a little bit further. But the heart of it is, yes, if you feel called to do something in these spaces, go for it. But understand that you will be tested. Understand that you will be tested. So you must go with the resolve to stand firm on your faith and in what you believe to be true and what you believe to be good. So to influence these industries for good as a Christian, if you are able to do so, do so. And that's why you find content creators out here in these spaces, right? That's why we are here trying to lend our voices in the sea of many voices that you hear out there, trying to point people back to Christ, back to the truth of the gospel, and to expose the darkness within this world as Ephesians 5:11 tells us to do, expose the works of darkness. One thing you must do is you must be firmly planted in a solid church with solid believers. You must be in your word. You cannot be Lone Ranger Christianing it out there in rough and wild places like Hollywood or in any other places that might cause you to compromise. You must stay firm in the word, and you must be walking with people who are going to encourage you, keep you lifted up in prayer, but you must be someone of true character and somebody who has resolved to not bow down to the lies of the world or to get sucked in for the allure of riches or fame or status or any of those things, because those things are all temporal, but Christ is forever. With that being said, man, I would love to hear from y'all. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And if then you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above where Christ is, seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. All right? God bless you, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.